All right, let's dive into The White Lotus Season 2.
Oh, yeah, the White Lotus.
That gorgeous Sicilian setting.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a random choice. This analysis goes way beyond the plot. Symbolism, clues. Maybe every relationship has a price tag.
Mm.
What do you think?
Well, what's fascinating is how the show is even created. It ties right into the themes of limits and innovation.
Okay.
So think back to 2020, COVID lockdowns.
Right.
Productions are shut down.
Yeah.
And HBO needs content they can actually film.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Mike White pitches this genius idea.
Okay.
A show built for a pandemic.
So you're saying a global crisis shaped one of TV's most talked about shows.
Exactly.
That's wild. I remember Season 1, everyone was buzzing about it.
It was huge.
More Emmy nominations than episodes?
Yeah.
Talk about turning lemons into limoncello.
Exactly. So that constraint, limited setting, smaller cast, it made production possible, but it became part of the show's DNA.
Interesting.
The characters are trapped in paradise.
Like we
all were during lockdown. Desires, frustrations, all playing out with limited options.
And then for Season 2, same formula, but they take it to Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
Not just any part of Sicily, Taormina. A place with a history that really adds to the story.
Oh, for sure. See, in the 19th century, Taormina was this haven for sex tourism, especially for gay men.
Oh, wow.
Knowing that history, you see the characters and their relationships differently.
Wait, didn't Oscar Wilde spend time in Taormina after he was released from prison?
Yes.
And there's that quote of his about everything being about sex except sex itself, which is about power.
You got it. And that quote becomes so relevant to this season. Like Mike White is playing with this idea. Are these characters really looking for connection or just playing power games disguised as romance?
Okay, now this is interesting. This analysis says Season 2 takes that idea, all relationships are transactional, even further than Season 1.
It does.
It's almost saying the characters who figure this out end up happier.
It is interesting, isn't it?
It is.
It's subtle,
Yeah.
but you see it with several characters. Well, take Harper Ethan, for example.
Okay.
They arrive in Sicily, seemingly solid couple, but cracks start to show. Harper suspects Ethan isn't being honest about Cameron, his college buddy.
And you see her questioning everything, their intimacy, their goals.
Exactly.
It's like she's realizing how much it costs to keep up this perfect marriage image.
The show hints that maybe Harper's starting to see their relationship as, well, a transaction. She gives loyalty and support, but what's she getting back? Are her emotional needs being met?
Right.
Makes her reevaluate the whole deal.
Then you have Albie and his father, two very different guys, both facing this transactional reality.
Right.
Albie starts out so idealistic,
Oh, yeah?
believing in true love and all that. But his encounters with Lucia, who's a sex worker,
Right.
and his dad's, well, less than faithful behavior, force him to see the world differently.
It's a tough lesson.
It is.
He's realizing that even love can be tangled up in power and unspoken agreements.
And then there's Lucia and Mia. The analysis calls them chaotic and magical.
It's a great description.
I love it. It's so true. But how do they fit into this transactional thing? Are they victims or are they playing the game?
Well, that's what's so interesting. They navigate this world with, a certain savvy, almost like they're using it. Not just being exploited, they're making calculated moves.
Could they be the ones coming out on top?
Maybe. It's like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
I'm seeing this whole season differently now.
That's the brilliance of The White Lotus. It's not just about rich people and their drama. It makes us think about power dynamics in all relationships, even our own. And it makes you question your own assumptions about relationships.
Okay, this game, you mentioned how Harper and Ethan,
Right, yeah.
Albie and his father, prime examples of this transactional thing.
Definitely.
Can we unpack that a bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start with Harper and Ethan. On the surface, they seem like a happy couple.
Right.
But things start to unravel. Harper especially gets more and more disillusioned. She suspects Ethan isn't totally honest about Cameron, his friend.
It's almost as if their relationship is out of balance.
Yes.
She's giving, but is she getting what she needs?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the show suggests that Harper's seeing their relationship as a transaction. She gives her loyalty, support.
Right.
But is she getting her needs met? She's questioning the whole thing, her loyalty, her support, and wondering if it's worth it.
Right. And then you have Albie, who comes into this whole Sicilian adventure with such a pure heart. He believes in love, genuine connection.
Oh, yeah, he's such an idealist.
But then he meets Lucia, a sex worker, playing her own game.
Right.
And his dad, well, his dad's not exactly faithful.
No.
It forces Albie to see the world differently.
It's a harsh reality check.
Yeah, like a crash course in relationships.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, is the show saying all relationships are doomed to be this way?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
The show gives us these different sides of these transactional relationships.
Right.
And it's up to us to decide if this is just reality or a warning sign.
Definitely makes you look at your own relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
And wonder, what are the unspoken rules? What am I giving? And what am I getting back?
Right.
It's unsettling.
It is.
But also it really makes you think. But let's talk about that ending. Mysterious death, a sense of, I don't know, disillusionment hanging over everything. What's the message there?
Well, that death.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of what happens when you don't acknowledge how transactional relationships can be.
Right.
This character, blinded by desire, denial,
Yeah.
misses the warning signs and pays the price.
It's tragic, but it fits perfectly.
It does.
Like Mike White is saying, wake up. You might be missing what's going on in your own life.
It's powerful.
It is.
And what's interesting is that some viewers miss the clues.
Really?
Just like the character who dies. They're holding on to this romantic view, even though the show is hinting at something else.
It's like the characters and the audience are both in denial.
Yes.
Maybe some of us just don't want to face the truth about relationships.
That's what's brilliant about this show.
Yeah.
It doesn't give easy answers.
No.
It pushes us to confront uncomfortable truths.
About love, desire, compromise.
Exactly.
Okay, before we get too philosophical,
Yeah.
let's go back to the symbolism. It's like Mike White is leaving clues everywhere.
He is. It's like another layer of intrigue.
Right. From the opening credits
Which are amazing.
to those testa di moro, the ceramic heads everywhere.
Right.
It's like a treasure hunt for anyone paying attention.
Absolutely.
Okay, because testa di moro for a second, they're not just decoration.
Right.
They're Sicilian folklore, tales of betrayal, revenge,
Exactly.
and they're in all the couples' rooms.
Not a coincidence.
Not at all. It's like Mike White is hinting at the infidelity, the power struggles
Yeah.
under the surface of these seemingly perfect relationships
He's using those symbols to add more depth.
to the story. And it's not just the testa di moro. Think about Cameron.
Yeah.
All those little comments about money, privilege.
He's like the show's critique of wealth and entitlement, walking and talking.
And the games the wealthy play to stay on top.
Right.
It's fascinating.
He is. You want to root against him?
Yes.
But you also kind of get him.
Yeah.
His motivations wanting to protect what he has.
Right.
Mike White is so good at creating these characters.
He is.
Flawed, they make bad choices, but you can't help but be interested.
You really can't.
And the show doesn't shy away from the messiness of it all.
It jumps right into the mess.
Sex, power, the truth about relationships.
All of it.
We're peeling back layers of an onion here.
We are.
Every layer is something new, intriguing. Pandemic production, Sicilian history,
Right.
those creepy testa di moro everywhere.
And of course, that idea that every relationship has a price.
It's fascinating.
What I love is how the White Lotus flips the whole whodunit thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not a typical mystery.
Right, we know who dies early on.
Exactly. So it's not about solving the crime.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the why, the what.
It really shifts the focus.
It becomes less who did it and more why did it happen and what does it mean.
Exactly.
Mike White is brilliant for that.
He really is. It's like he's using this familiar genre, but to explore bigger themes.
About human nature, desire. Exactly. And speaking of complexity, we got to talk about what's next for the White Lotus. Season 3 is coming.
It is.
And the theme is not religion.
Wow. That's interesting.
Right. Makes sense, though, given how the show looks at social dynamics,
It does.
power structures.
Yeah.
Oh, I can already picture it. A bunch of wealthy travelers at
Mhm.
some fancy spiritual retreat.
Well, yeah.
Their inner demons clashing with all that outward piety.
It's ripe for irony.
Totally. Imagine those who actually want spiritual growth versus those using it for status.
Right. Or how religious institutions
Yeah.
can actually be part of the power dynamics they say they're, above.
Oh, for sure. And let's not forget the scandals, the secrets
Oh, it's got to be so much.
lurking beneath this peaceful spiritual surface.
Mike White loves peeling back those layers.
He does. He finds the cracks in those perfect images we all try to show.
So true.
So what does this all mean for us, the viewers?
Yeah.
The White Lotus is more than just a show.
Right.
It makes you think, makes you question, maybe even makes you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because you see yourself in those characters.
And their flaws, their desires.
It's really well done how the show balances satire with empathy. It criticizes the rich and powerful.
Yeah.
But it also shows their human side, their vulnerabilities.
It's what makes it so interesting.
It's like the show holds up a mirror to society.
Yeah.
All the good and bad.
Warts and all.
But with humor, too.
A dark...
Yeah. You laugh at how absurd it all is,
Right.
but it also makes you look at yourself.
And your role in it all.
Exactly. And isn't that what great art should do? Make you think, challenge you, stay with you.
Absolutely.
So while we wait for season 3,
Yeah.
let's keep talking about this show.
I'm excited to see what he does next.
Me too. And here's something to think about.
Okay.
We've touched on it but haven't answered it. Are all relationships transactional? Or is there something more?
That's a good one.
It is. Keep exploring the White Lotus, share your thoughts, and get ready for season 3.
It's going to be wild.
It is. Until then, happy deep diving. Ciao for now.